This is WWE The Big Show. KC the Most, he is your host. You better listen, you might learn something.
What's up? This is your boy KC. Raw is 3 hours. You expect us to sit through half of a roster for 3 hours? You know what grinds my gears, man? What the hell? Pokemon. This Pokemon Go app that everybody is into is making people lose their minds, making people stupid. As I said before, I am a big guy, and it's not funny having your ass sucked into a chair like a vacuum. It's that time of the week again. Time for another top 10. Anime Otakus, it's that time again. Video game portion of my show, Jarek. This guy is a straight up Kano clone. He has all of Kano's moves. Dragon Ball debunked. People who pretend to be nice, that in front of people, they're smiling it up. Hello, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. The wrestling match of the week. The game of the week, is it worth it? The anime of the week, is time to talk about some more Dragon Ball Super. Like, comment, and subscribe. What's up, it's your boy KC, how y'all doing? It's that time again. It's time to do another top 10 or top 8 list. Now, I got a lot of positive feedback on the last one I did when I put the Mega Man Classic games in order from my favorite to least favorite. I got a lot of positive feedback, a lot of good numbers, and I appreciate you guys that watch it, and I'm glad you liked it. Now, it's time for me to dive into the X series, and since there's only 8 games, I'm going to do a top 8, of course. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Now I'm going to do something a little different with this top list. I'm going to name the games in order, but I'm going to name positive things about it and the things that I didn't like. So here we go. Coming in at number 8 is Mega Man X7, and that's probably no surprise to anybody. Mega Man X7, they tried something new. They tried something in a 2D environment and a 3D environment, so there's different sections in the game where you switch back and forth. That's all well and good. But the thing that makes the game suck is that it's broken. The controls suck. And when you switch between these environments, the game is just really clunky, it's slow, and it's like they could have benefited from using a lot more time on this game than they did. I feel like they just rushed it to keep it going, to keep the popularity going. And I know sometimes you have to do that, but quality over quantity. And I have to be honest, Mega Man X7 sucks. Like, I'm not even playing. I hate everything about the game. The only thing good about it was the voice acting. The Mavericks in this game are pretty forgettable. I don't have one that stands out to me at all. And I sure as hell didn't like the fact that this was the game that introduced us to low budget X, Axel, that annoying bastard that only has one unique power that they could have built in any of the robots that you see. X could have got this power. Zero could have got this power if they had taken the time to build it, making this robot useless. He's just really annoying. I feel like he didn't need to be in the game. He didn't need to be a playable character. It's just Capcom pulling that bullshit again, just like they did with Devil May Cry 4 when they stuck us with that crybaby Nero instead of the badass Dante. And it's like, you guys need to learn already. Stop doing that. Stop replacing the main characters with these watered down shitty versions of the badass characters that we've all come to know and love. So Mega Man X7 is number 8. Coming in at number 7, we have Mega Man X6. Now I have to admit, I do like the design in this game. Like, the characters look pretty cool with the exception of some Mavericks. I think X looks awesome with the white armor that he's wearing that he collected from X5. So I will give it props on that. It does look cool. However, that doesn't save this game. The storyline is convoluted. Prior to this, Zero had died in X5. And all of a sudden, he just shows up out of nowhere in this game without any kind of explanation, talking about he hit himself while he tried to fix himself. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. When he died in X5, he was nothing but a torso with one arm. How the hell did he repair himself? Seriously, they just threw him out there because they just wanted to find a way to get Zero back in the story. Now, I have to throw this out to you guys that Keiji Inafune did not work on X5, X6, X7, and X8. He was off doing the Zero series for the Game Boy Advance, so he wasn't a part of this. This game introduces the Nightmare system, which randomizes your game, and it makes the levels sometimes unplayable because some of the levels get real dark and you can't see where you're going, and it just makes the game more annoying than it has to be. The fact that they randomize everything in the game, that if you beat the game and you think it's a certain way, then you come back and you play it again, it'll be different. I don't like stuff like that. Don't randomize my game. If you don't know how to do it, then don't do it. The Mavericks in this game are also forgettable because this one introduced us to Ground Scaravage, which is one of the worst Mavericks ever made. Remember the dung beetle? The one that carries the ball of shit with it? The shit sandwich that I said in the last countdown that I did? Just everything about X6 is garbage. I can't stand this game. That's why it's number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have Mega Man X5. If you got this game in America, then the Mavericks are extremely memorable because if you're a Guns N' Roses fan, you will know that all of them were named after different members of that rock band, and that's why they're memorable the way that they are. If you got it in Japan, of course they have different names. Again, another beautifully drawn video game with great graphics, and they actually introduced something that classic Mega Man never thought of, and even X to a certain point all the way up into this game. Ducking! Something that was common sense. Maybe if I just kind of kneel down on one knee, it will help me dodge projectiles. I don't know, let's give this concept a try. And I was surprised to see ducking in that junk. I was like, what? Seriously. Mega Man X5 for the most part is not a bad game. The only negative things I could plug from it is probably Grizzly Slash's stage. It's kind of redundant because it was already done before, but the game is a good game. It's not as good as its predecessor, but there's not that many X games that are, so that's not a fair argument. So Mega Man X5 is number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have Mega Man X8. After going through this game again, this game is a huge improvement over X6 and X7, and maybe even X5. I enjoy the graphics. They did a transition well into the PS2 era. I think they did a great job. The fact that you can have teams, which was introduced in Mega Man X7, but you can team X with Zero, you can team X with low budget X Axel, or you can team low budget X Axel with Zero, whatever you want to do. And they also have double team moves where you can have both characters do a special attack that destroys all enemies, kind of like Marvel vs. Capcom games like that. And I think that that's really cool. I think that they really took their time to develop this game. I don't really have too many negative things to say about the game other than a few Mavericks that kind of suck, like Bamboo Pandemonium and Optic Sunflower. Golly, whoever thought of that should have been fired or had their creative privileges taken away for coming up with a ridiculous Maverick like that, not alone the name. I'm like, come on, it's a sunflower. How in the blue hell is that threatening to anything on this planet? Anything in the video game world? It's just so stupid. However, those are the only 2 negative things I could come up with this game. They did a great job, and that's why it's number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Mega Man X2. Now it's hard to top the original if you played video games and you've watched different movies. The sequel usually isn't as good as the original unless we're talking about Terminator, or even the Rambo series, First Blood. I think 2 is better than 1. However, we'll talk about that another day. I have to be honest with you guys. I really don't care for Mega Man X2. I think it's kind of bland, boring. I know it may upset a couple of fans on this channel, but I don't know. Like, Mega Man X2 is kind of like Mega Man 5 for me. Like, just forgettable. You know, not to mention a lot of my frustrations in this game going up against Wheel Gator and Bubble Crab, Crystal Snail, and Wire Sponge, probably one of the worst Mavericks ever made, next to Ground Scaravage. The music is kind of bad too. It's kind of ear raping to me. Like, I really don't like a lot of the music. It just kind of sounds annoying to me. With the exception of Bubble Crab, that's a peaceful theme. But it's this high on the list because if you're a Super Nintendo fan like I am, I love the Super NES. So there's a lot of great classic games on this system. And I remember picking up X1, X2, and X3 and just playing the hell out of them. So I have fond memories of this game, but it's really not that good to me, to be honest, after going back and looking at it. So Mega Man X2 is number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have Mega Man X, the one that started it all, the original. Now, nostalgia aside, everything about Mega Man X, with the exception of Flame Mammoth, who is a retard, you guys know how much I hate him and his design. Everything about Mega Man X, from the music to the level designs, was a masterpiece. Going from that transition from the Nintendo to the Super Nintendo, this showed what the Super Nintendo was all about. Games like Mega Man X, Super Castlevania 4, Super Mario World, and Super Double Dragon. Great game, by the way. People don't know about it too much, but Super Double Dragon, or The Return of Double Dragon in Japan, is a great game. I'll talk about that another time. Now, even though Mega Man X plays just like classic Mega Man, with the exception of they gave him a dash instead of the slide, this series, this is where they started to take it in a more realistic, dark approach, where people actually die in the game. That's something you didn't see in classic Mega Man. People would get beat and that's it. But you never heard of people being killed and dying and all that stuff like that until you got to the X series. So it was more catered towards the teenagers and adults, even though kids could play it, and we played the hell out of it, but it was more of a serious approach, and that's what I like about the X series. And this game was so popular and so loved around the world that they actually remade the game for the PlayStation Portable, the PSP, Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, which is a remake of classic Mega Man X, where they did all the graphics all over again. They even added the voice acting, which was pretty good. And it sucks that it was never ported to any other system except for the PSP, because I think that if you guys had gotten your hands on it, the ones who didn't play it, you would love it. And that's why Mega Man X is number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have Mega Man X3. X3 took everything that the original X game and X2 had and beefed it up, even the difficulty. I love the Mavericks in this game, especially Blizzard Buffalo. He's awesome. I love his level design where you're trapped in an ice cavern and you just feel cold out there. Like, you can feel it coming through the game. You're like, I'm trapped out here. Awesome stuff. The music. Do I really even need to say anything about the music? The soundtrack for this game is nothing short of amazing. Every single song in this game, Blizzard Buffalo, Gravity Beetle, Volt Catfish, Neon Tiger, just one great song after another. I have Blizzard Buffalo song on my phone as we speak, and I listen to that song all the time. Mega Man X3 is the one from that Super Nintendo era. That's the one game that I played non-stop, repeatedly. And I got so good at it, I might do a playthrough of it one day. We will see. This game also had a PS1 release, which had FMV videos in it. And there was nothing cooler than watching Blizzard Buffalo take a block of ice and crush it and bend it to his will to make whatever he wants out of it. And it was awesome. That's why Mega Man X3 is number 2. And coming in at number 1 is Mega Man X4. No surprise there. Now, Magma Dragoon alone was enough to put this game at number 1 for me, but I gotta be more specific in why I picked this game as number 1, because that's my style. The story is what grabbed me in this game, because you put X in this scenario with his co-worker Double, who works under him. We watch X thrown into a world of disarray where all kinds of destructive things are happening in Mega Man X4, as the script takes an even darker turn than the previous 3 Mega Man X games, as we watch cities being destroyed and humans being killed. We watch Magma Dragoon turn on X and join up with the enemies. They enter the Colonel, where he has a vision of his own and he's blinded by it, as he wants to see liberty and security in the world, and he fights for his own individual rights and the survival of his crew. The Mavericks destroy a power generator which kills thousands of people in the world, and we find out that the Repla Force and the Maverick Hunters that is led by X used to work side by side, which explains why Zero knows the Colonel and his sister Iris, who is his love interest in the game. The story is very deep and very interesting, and it'll keep you at the edge of your seat. And on top of that, the level design is flawless. There's not a level in this game that I do not enjoy. I enjoy the volcano that Magma Dragoon is in. I enjoy Cyber Peacock's level, where you're in this computer mainframe level where all this cybernetic stuff happens to you at once. I enjoy the design of that. That's a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of that show Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. If you guys remember that, if you like Power Rangers and VR Troopers and stuff like that, you've probably seen it with Matthew Lawrence. It's a lot of fun, old show from my childhood. Anyways, I also enjoyed Jet Stingray's level where you're on a bike going at all kinds of crazy speeds, trying to keep up with all the platforms, and this level will keep you at the edge of your seat. This will make you grow a beard and deepen your voice as your senses are going crazy trying to play through this level. I even enjoy Slash Beast level, even though it's just a giant train level like Charge Man from Mega Man 5. I enjoy playing through that because that gave me a rush. Now, this game does have some bad points. Some of the Mavericks, like Split Mushroom, is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that they would create a robot Mushroom proves that they were kind of running out of ideas for different Mavericks, and I can understand that. I mean, you have so many Mega Man games where you have to constantly come up with different designs and different names. You get writer's block after a while. I mean, look at Frost Wars. It's just Frost Man with a Warren's head on him. And I took a look at that and I laughed my ass off. I'm like, seriously? Really? But that aside, Mega Man X4 to me is the best Mega Man X game ever created, bar none. The story will keep you invested. The gameplay is flawless, the controls are perfect, and that's why Mega Man X4 is number 1. And that's it for this list of my top 8 favorite Mega Man X games. If you like what you heard, you can check out the rest of my content on my channel, KC the Most. I just put up a new video talking about 2 new Metroid games that are coming out, and I was excited as hell in that video. You can watch my playthrough of me playing through Metroid Fusion. I finished that up a couple of weeks ago. You guys will have a lot of fun watching that as well. You can also check out my other top 10 list. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll check you out later. Peace.